Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com, and we've got an important visitor here in the studio. This is Scott Champion. He is riding a 2018 YZ450F in the Supercross Championship this year, and he's actually riding for Partzilla.com. Listen, I see your machine. It looks like it's ready to rock, but I heard you had a little bit of a problem down in Tampa and had to borrow a few parts off your practice bike.
To say the least, yes. I had a couple crashes this weekend and ended up putting a hole in the side case cover and a couple other things. The fuel pump went out and the brake or throttle cables were destroyed. So didn't get too far with that situation, and we had to take some parts from the other bike.
So that explains why the bike over on my bench looks a little rough.
Yeah, we'll come check it out. So this is the practice bike. We had to use some parts.
Yes, she looks like she's been skinned back a little bit, but
Yeah.
You've told me what's wrong with this one, and I'll tell you what, I think I can help you out on this, Scott. I'm going to send you to the practice track just on your regular race bike, if that's all right. You leave this with me for today and tomorrow. I'll get the parts ordered and get her put back together, and then I can get you back on the road to Atlanta by tomorrow evening.
John, that would be awesome.
That sound like a plan?
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys, give me a couple of minutes to go in and get these parts ordered. Then we'll meet back here tomorrow and get Scott's practice bike put back together. So let's go. All right, guys, for what I'm about to do, I'm going to put this at a skill level 2, but just barely. It's not going to be that complicated, I don't believe. Let's go through some of the tools that I'm going to need to pull this off. On the socket side, just an 8 and a 10. On the torque side, just a T25. On the Allen, we need a 4, 5, and a 6, and especially this big 14. Probably a needle nose pair of pliers, a couple of different extensions for the ratchet, and a 10mm wrench. Now, as far as the parts go, listen, this is several projects rolled into one, so we'll list out the ones that we used on this, but whatever you need for your machine, come check us out at Partzilla.com and we can get you taken care of. So once you've got your tools and your parts together, we can go over there and get this thing fixed up for Scott. All right, guys, we've sent Scott off to the track this morning, so we're going to start with replacing the fuel pump. Before we pull this, let's mark it so we get it back in the same position. Just a 4mm Allen. Looks like there's going to be 6 of them. I mean, Scott doesn't know what happened to the fuel pump, so it quit working. Evidently, they pulled one off the other bike, the entire tank and everything, and then it started working. So evidently, it's the fuel pump. All right, let's see if we can get this thing shimmied out of here. You got to love the smell of race fuel. Oh, good grief. What an impact. This is actually broken. The assembly is broken right there. That took a hard hit to actually snap that on the inside of the tank. Wow. When I was moving it around, I thought I heard something, and yeah, there is something inside. I would imagine that this was part of the the fuel pump at one point in time. All right, let's go ahead and grab a new one. And I want to replace the O-ring that seals it to the bottom of the tank as well. We've got a flat edge here that's going to go down, and the beveled edge heads up. Well, if you're holding it upside down. Looks like she's seated down. Let's go ahead and get her in there. And still got our marks lined up. Just bolt it back down. All right, so let's get this reinstalled. Go ahead and make your connection for your fuel line before you slide it down in. Otherwise, you're not going to have enough room to make the connection. I'm going to pull this red section back, and then as you're bringing the tank in, go ahead and make your connection. Push it all the way down, and then push the red in to lock it. Now, you can slide her back into position, and the front just has 2 little sections protruding out on either side, and those lock into place. Now, all you have to do is make the electrical connection, and it is just a single plug. Push it till you hear that click, and then you're good to go. Now, we can go ahead and bolt it down. Only 1 bolt in the back. Typical motocross bike. They're all about being able to take things apart and put them back together very quickly. All right, guys, we got the tank mounted down. Let's go ahead and drain the oil out of it. And that oil hadn't been used at all, so we're not going to have to worry about the filter. Before we pull that side cover, let's go ahead and disconnect the battery. All right, let's go ahead and get this cover off. Now notice this one at the very top, it actually has a copper washer behind it, so you want to make sure it goes back in the same place. Now I suspect that they just laid the stator inside the cover and didn't remount it. Yeah, and that's what they did. Now let's see if we can go ahead and pull the stator out of here. All right, guys, we've got our gasket, we've got our cover. I'm just going to work off of a stand, get the stator and the pickup coil mounted. Then we can go ahead and mount this to the case. But it's important when you're putting these back together, these 3 bolts and then these 2 pickup bolts, that you use some red Loctite on them. Very important to do that. All right, let's go ahead and get them back in. All right, next, we're going to go ahead and mount our pickup coil. What you want to do is drop this wire down below it and then put it in like that. Make sure you've got some red Loctite on your bolts and get them snug down. Next, before we put that little plate on, we want to add in a little bit of Yama Bond just to go around this groove to make sure it gets a good seal. Doesn't take much. Just right around there. So push that down, and we can bring in our plate. This little small one right here that actually holds the wires back. It rides in that little groove, sits in there just like that. All right, all we need to do now is just grab the gasket and get it bolted to the machine. Now remember that rotor's got magnets in it, so it's going to try to pull in. So don't let it pinch your fingers when you go to seat it. All right, let's get our bolts back in there. There was one that had this copper washer on it. It goes where the arrow is, up top. Then you have 2, they have these little cable holders, and they go where these 2 protrusions are. All right, let's get this snug down. Then wrap that around that wire. All right, we just need to get the inspection covers back on, then we can put in the drain plug and then fill it back up with oil. All right, now we can go ahead and get our drain bolt back in. Make sure the crush washer is still on there. Now, personally, you know that I like using OEM parts and products and lubrication, and et cetera, et cetera. This particular rider likes using this particular brand of oil, so that is what we're going to put back in it. And we did not change the oil filter, so I should just be able to fill it and look at the sight gauge to get it back where it needs to be. It only wants about 1/2 liter, I think like 650 cc's. So we're getting real close. Let it settle and then keep going. And that should do it. All right, next, let's go ahead and get on his shifter. And on the end of the shift shaft and on the shifter itself, you'll have a dot, and those are the 2 that you want to line up. All right, guys, got the filler plug back in place. Now let's hop up there and take care of that throttle. So let's start sliding this up, and then we want to take this forward cable and bring it around on the bottom. Right there, get it in the groove, bring it to that point. So we take the back side and go ahead and lay that cable in place and into its holder. Hold that together, bring your second cable around, put it through that slot, bring it up. It's actually going to be facing into the other one. Then we're going to take the back half and hold it all together, hopefully. There we go. rotate it toward me. Go ahead and get those 2 Phillips head screws started, then we'll tighten them down here in a minute. All right, push it all the way in. Pretty much have this vertical. Go ahead and tighten the bottom one first. Do your final adjustment, and then tighten the top. Make sure that that isn't pinched anywhere, that little plastic guide, and we're good to go. Now I shouldn't have to do any throttle adjustment because all of that was the way it was when it was taken apart. All we did was just put on another throttle grip. But there should be just a little bit of play, not much, maybe about 1/3 of a millimeter before it engages. And that's pretty much what she's doing. So it's ready to pop that throttle body. Next, pull this around, and that covers it back up. Next, we need to get his start button reinstalled. And I'm going to go ahead and take off this front cover, or at least get it out of the way, because it has to be routed around the front of the steering head. All right, where it's going to end up is flush against this, just butt it up right next to it. And what we're going to use is these 2 little brackets. On the bottom one, that's where you want your thread to be. So we'll hang it in there like that. Now we just need to pinch that over the bar, get a screw in there. And we've got it started enough. Bring it up, turn it about right here, get it parallel with this surface on the throttle. Make sure it's easy for him to get his thumb to, and go ahead and tighten it down. Now, the way they want it to come down is across here through the holder over here on the left side of the machine. From this point, it wraps around and makes its connection right under this flap to this plug right up under here. Now let's get a couple of zip ties and zip tie it in place. We want it right up under here on the bottom of the handlebars. And then one down here. Go and get this mounted back up. All right, that's in place. Those cables look right. You need to push this back up. All right, it's almost starting to look like a motorcycle again. Pretty much all we've got left is just to get this side air dam back in and get the seat on. This is actually the intake for the air box. Get our air box cover on, get your breather hose in. Let's go and connect up our battery. Let's get the seat popped back on. Well, all right, guys, that wraps this one up. All we have to do now is turn it back over to Scott. Well, all right, Scott, we got your machine put back together, already loaded up in your van. But before you leave, I want to send out a few things with you because I know competing at your level, you must be going through a lot of hard parts.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and set you up with some more cables,
Awesome.
high-wear items like your sprockets and your chain, oil filters, and everybody tears up fenders. But beyond that, something a little bit special. Competing at your level, you need every little bit of power you can get out of this machine.
Right.
So I'm sending out this polished and ported head along with the matching cams and then a high compression piston to really get that bike singing.
Yeah, that bike is definitely going to be ripping hole shots now, so I appreciate all this, and wow, this is a lot. Thank you guys.
Not a problem. Glad to do it. Glad to be part of your team. So
Appreciate it.
So good luck this year.
Thank you,
and
John.
we will see you out at the track.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Thank you,
guys. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.